Hey there, this is Jill Smith. I am back with another video. I am one half of the Smith Serve. My husband Terence, he spearheads our the nonprofit we're building, the Terence and Jill Smith Foundation. And I am the nonprofit expert over here on this side. So this you'll see me more on this side. But our mission is simple. Our mission is to help you raise awareness for your mission so that you can attract the right people and generate more than enough revenue so that you can impact lives and shift communities. That's our mission. All right. So if you're listening to this video on YouTube and you are a founder, make sure that you go to Facebook and join the Founders of Nonprofits Facebook group. All right. I'll put the link at the bottom, but it's also at the top in the profile. If you are listening to this video on the Facebook group, Founders of Nonprofits, make sure you subscribe to this video. I'm sorry, subscribe to this channel. Yeah, like, share, and all that good stuff. All right. If you are thinking about starting a nonprofit, yes, start the nonprofit because the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few, and we need all the help we can do. I mean, all the help we can get over here in these nonprofit streets. So if you want to start a nonprofit, don't know how to start one, make sure you download the checklist. Start your nonprofit. It is absolutely free. And you can get that in the link down below or up above. And what else? Oh, if you need some help, some one-on-one help, you can schedule a discovery session. All right. So I did a video, and the video was all of the there are six there's six local entities that your nonprofit needs to tap into, and I did that video. But before you go out to the public and start tapping into support and resources, and that's even before asking for donations publicly. Now, in the beginning, you're going to need help. And if you don't have the financial resources, because let's be clear, you're not going to get a grant on day one, and you need the financial resources. You need to do what I call as a fundraiser campaign, and I also call it a green campaign. That is more of a private type of fundraising campaign. And so if you want to know how to do one of those, you definitely need to invest in my tool, the Financial Campaign Planner. It is like, it's just about free. It's a week's worth of coffee. That's all it costs. A week's worth of coffee is probably cheaper than that. But you definitely need to get that because you're going to need to tap into individual donors anyway. So that is a good, tool for asking for public support as well as before you go out to the public. So this video is all about what to do before you go out to the public and ask for support. I'm talking about donor support. I'm talking about volunteer support, all that type of support. I'm not talking about board support. I'm talking about before you go out to the public and say, can you give me $1? These are some things you need to do. All right. You need to do. And there's 6 things you need to do. I recommend that you do. There are other things you need to do as well. But these 6 things are what's going to make sure that someone pays attention. And whether they support you or not, this will make them say, And before I also say this, I also want to say that make sure you're okay. I'm going to put this in one of the numbers. All right. So the very first thing you need to make sure you are doing before you go out into the public to ask for support, you need to be doing your research. You need to be doing your research. So say, for instance, that you want to do if you have an idea or vision to serve pregnant teen moms, you need to, before you even launch a nonprofit, before you even come up with the savvy name, before you even ask your friends to support you or whoever support you, before you do all that, do your research. Make sure that there is a need for that community, that make sure that there's a community of people. Do your research. And so those of you who follow me on Facebook, and of course my clients know this, the best type of research to do these days is to build a community around your idea. Build a community around your idea. A great example is I wanted to see, I knew it was a community for people who wanted to start nonprofits, but I wanted to narrow that really, really, really down. I wanted to see where what the need was in the nonprofit world for those who were starting nonprofits. So I created a Facebook group. That Facebook group is almost 11,000 people in it. And that Facebook group, I've been over I created that Facebook group, 2 years ago? It is now to 11,000 people. And the most consistent need in that group is how to recruit board members. And of course, the number one need is how to get funding. So make sure you do your research. Creating communities on social media is a great way to do your research. You are looking and observing and looking at responses and answers, and that way you can learn how to. Then you'll then be able to develop your mission. But make sure that you do your research. Look at the need in your local community outside and find out what are the community issues around your idea. What are the community needs? On the flip side of our profession as nonprofit professionals, my husband and I, we're building a nonprofit as well. And we saw that there is a need for our mission is to, for our nonprofit is to support projects that align with our likes and things that we're interested in. And one of the things is we have a heart for singles. We have a heart for singles. So one of our programs, A God Ordained Union, we're on a mission to help encourage and position those who are singles to meet their person. And so over the years, we created a YouTube channel. We're doing our research. We've been doing our research for the last 3 years, and we've been observing. And one of the things that's on the rise and that we've been listening, there's a lot of people who are suffering with loneliness. Loneliness is an epidemic that is becoming an epidemic in the US, even way before the pandemic. And so it's like, okay, so these are aligning. So now we know, we're knowing how to structure our program. And so make sure you do the research. Make sure you do the research and make sure you tap out and before you're, asking people for support. The second thing is that you want to know your mission. You want to know your mission. After you do the research, you have this vision to help in these certain areas, then make sure you narrow down your mission. Make sure you narrow down your mission and your mission statement. You want to be clear on what your nonprofit and your programs are doing and what the mission is and the outcomes you want. And so make sure you're clear on your mission. If you need help with your mission statement, hit me up. The third thing is that you want to have your systems in place. There is nothing worse than going out asking for a donation or for support, and you have nothing professional in place to catch a donation. No, you don't want to always keep relying on no Cash App. No, and people these days ain't writing checks. So you want to make sure that if someone gives you a donation, make sure your systems are in place. In addition, if you don't have your 501c3 tax exempt status, make sure that you tell the donor, the potential donor, it is pending or you don't have it, so that you can give them an option to say whether they want to donate or not. But if you do have it in place, make sure that you have a system in place that is going to take that's going to receive the money, if they want to use their card, and generate a thank you letter, support letter, so that they can have it for tax purposes. But make sure your system's in place. In addition to that, make sure you have your business bank account in place. All right. Make sure your systems are in place to be able to receive donor support. If someone wants to volunteer for your program, make sure you have a system in place for them to sign up to be a volunteer. Make sure you're able to they can go to your website and you have a form there, for donors, for volunteer support. Make sure you have your systems in place to take on board members. Make sure your board members have a package in place. Every time a board member comes, you need to revise the bylaws. You need to let them read, and they must sign the bylaws. You should be re-signing the bylaws. And so make sure you have a board package in place. In the Activate Toolkit is a whole board package for board members. And so make sure that you have your systems in place to be able to catch and receive the support. All right, so that's number 3. Number 4 is be organized. You need an organization that is legally organized. So make sure that you are organized. I mentioned having your tax exempt status. Make sure before you're going out asking for donor support that you have that you're legally able to receive donor support. Make sure that you are a legal entity. Make sure you're organized. Make sure you have a board in place, a board of directors in place. A lot of times you don't, a lot of states, I should say, you don't need more than 2 or 3 or more than 3 board members. And so, so make sure you know how many board members you are supposed to have so that you ain't trying to stress yourself out. Well, I can't do this until I get 17 board members. No, you can. You really can, and you legally can. So, but make sure you're organized. Make sure you're organized. This is number 4. Number 5, test your program. Test your program. Test your program. Because even when you go after grant funding, they want to see performance. They want to see past performance. So pilot your program. If you have a reentry program or whatever type of program, maybe you have an after school program, do a pilot program. Make sure you test that program. Do an after school program for 6 weeks to see if it's working, if there's a need for it, if there are people responding in the community. Let me tell y'all something. Let me tell you something. Make sure you know the geographics, the psychographics, and the geographics, psychographics. Oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank. Geographic, cycle, and the demographics. Make sure you know the demographics, geographics, and the psychographics of your community. Because you can start say an after school program and say the after school program is on the mission to get the youth off the street so that they can have activities to deter them from crime and violence, and say that after school program is that you are you're teaching them how to play golf, and say you're taking them off the street and you're teaching them how to play golf when they're in a community where they love, hip hop stuff. They love rap. Maybe their local hip hop person, lives around it is from that city. So you may need to tailor your program to their interests. You may need to tailor their program to their interests and to what they are psychologically grasping. They might not have an interest or can grasp the understanding of tennis or golf or even swimming. So make sure you might have the program nailed right, but you might not be tailoring the program to the interests of the participants, and you're wondering why no one's showing up to participate in your program. Because yes, they want an after school program. The parents want the after school program for their kids, but the kids ain't interested in chess or golf, or they might not even be interested in football or basketball. They might be interested in the arts or whatever. So make sure that's part of your research, making sure you know what the interest is. And so, so make sure that you are testing your program, and you are testing to see if this program is working, and making sure that it's needed. All right. And the 6th thing, be branded. Be branded. You are your brand, and sometimes brands are just about your personality. It's not always about the colors and and all of the pinks got to match, right? And it's got to be the right 6 digits of a color. It's not just that. It is all of it. It is all of it. The personality, the character, the participants, all of that is your brand. There is a thing called the know, like, and trust factor. And so that is building your brand. It is a thing about your story. So make sure you are branded well, and you are putting your best foot forward before you really spread your wings in the public. All right. I hope this helps. Leave comments, all that great stuff. If you have any questions, concerns, or if you need any help, discovery sessions are open. You can schedule. Make sure you download the Activate Toolkit. That is a great resource, over 30-something tools for you, board development tools, board documents, bylaws. Nothing is AI generated. Letters to help pitch your local media, your local congressmen and all that great stuff, how to, pitch a meeting and all that great stuff. So check that out as well. All right. All right, until the next video, I'll see you in a few. All right, bye-bye.